Hi, I'm Anne, and if you've never seen me before, I'm an aspiring author and kind of ex-booktuber who is hoping to plot, write, edit, and publish a novel in 4 months. I don't know what is wrong with me, but we are currently in Preptober, the second week of Preptober, and this week I'm going to be devoting to creating characters. Last week I focused on the historical research. I'm writing a historical cozy mystery, and so I really wanted to understand a lot of the historical context in which my story would be set. And then this week I am going to focus on the characters, the people who are the really interesting part of the book. Because let's face it, if the characters aren't interesting, the plot cannot save the book. I probably should have mentioned this last week, but in writing my book, I'm actually using only one program to do everything from writing outlines, character sketches, writing my first draft, editing, formatting, everything. I'm using one thing, and that is Google Docs. Unfortunately, I am broke currently. My husband and I are hoping to buy a house soon, so we just can't afford to throw money away. And so the one thing that I would love to invest in someday is Scrivener. There's so many both indie authors and professionally, traditionally published authors who use Scrivener. Since I can't afford it, I'm using Google Docs instead. There is a great video by Abbie Emmons, and her video was like an inspiration for me in using Google Docs to create my book. But she goes through basically how you can kind of do a similar layout in Google Docs to Scrivener. So when it comes to creating my characters, I'm going to be fully using Google Docs to create them. So I think the first thing we need to do before doing anything else is create a character template. Instead of having to worry to create a new document for each character, I can kind of just copy and paste ideas into one template. So let me create my templates, and then I will be back with you to show you kind of what my templates will look like. And then maybe later in this week, I will be showing you an example character, probably my main character, because I don't mind you knowing a lot about her, because in some ways she is very generic. Hi, I am back. It is the end of the day, and I just wanted to go over with you the base template that I created, as well as talk about how I filled in the stuff and the ideas. I also wanted to go over my organization on Google Docs of how I'm organizing my book. First of all, I wanted to give credit to Anna New, who did a brilliant character template on Google Docs, which, while I didn't use her template, I kind of used the idea of her template and kind of changed it to how I would want to do it. So as you can see, we are currently in the folder called Project Chosun. This is just my working title for my project. I haven't decided on a final name yet. So I have folders right now for characters, which we will go to in a minute, because that's what we're doing this week. Then I have notes, which I'm just throwing random ideas of stuff. I have outlines, which we're going to talk about next week. Research, which we talked about last week. And that has a whole bunch of my historical research, historical notes, really cool with Google Docs, where if I set a certain book as like a title, a heading, then on the side, then on the side you have like an outline that pops up, so you can jump in between sources and just look at specific sources that you want to look at. So it's really cool the way that works. But that was all last week's. And then I have settings, which is basically the settings that are in the story. Like each scene is set in a different setting. So for example, one scene might be set in Gyeongbokgung, which is the palace in Seoul, where the king and queen would have lived during the Joseon dynasty. So a lot of cool stuff. But let's go in the character and look at my template. Let's actually get rid of this and show you how I am creating things. So first of all, I created like a base template, and I'm going to show you that template right now. I wanted to keep things pretty minimal. So this is just like a picture that I created. If you go up to insert and then drawing, you can basically just like create your own drawing up here with different shapes and colors and stuff like that. Mine's pretty basic. I did the same thing with the background of this. And then I did a whole bunch of tables for the layout of the actual character. So I have name, nicknames, age, build, appearance. As you can see, most of these things are pretty short, and the reason why it's like pretty short is because I like to kind of know minimal about my characters, so I like to know like the big important stuff. So for example, like knowing that a character really loves the color pink, I don't think is imperative to who they are as a person. But knowing that their father died when they were young and they were thrown into poverty, that's something that would affect their outlook on life. So that's kind of what I'm trying to put down into these character sheets. So let's look, for example, at my main character, who's Eloise Lowry. Say hello to my main character. So she is a young woman from England who travels to Korea with her father. So I just have base information about her appearance, her personality, her strengths and weaknesses, her wants and needs, and then backstory and, her present story and end story. That's, basically overall what I need to know about her. All these details about maybe I learned that she really likes kimchi when she travels to Korea. I don't know. This is something random. That would be something that I would then add later on. I wouldn't just necessarily say, hey, I need to insert this into her character box. It could be as I'm writing the book, I, have this idea and then I add it to her character sheet after the fact. I also wanted to show a slight variance on the character, and that is with real historical figures. So this is Ilias Sterling Horton, also known as Ilias Underwood. She was a young Presbyterian missionary, as well as she graduated from Women's Medical University of Chicago the year before in 1887. She traveled in 1888 to Korea, and she was in charge of the female ward of their foreign hospital, as well as she became a private physician to Queen Min, who was the wife of the King of Korea. So she was a pretty cool lady, and she's going to be friends with Eloise. So in doing so, I found a generic picture that I thought semi looked like what she looked like in real life. But at the end, the only difference is I'm going to have a real picture of their real person, a photo of their real person. Maybe I won't be able to do that with some of the characters that we don't have photos of, but yeah, so I wanted to make sure to get a photo of her. And also I will be using slight creative writing. For example, I've seen pictures of her. She's very short, even next to her husband, who wasn't super tall. So I just set her at 5'2". I have no idea if she was 5 feet tall. She could be 5'4". I have no idea, but she looked petite. So I was 5'2". I have no idea if that's the case. Who knows? So there's definitely some creative liberties I'm taking. So those are how I'm going to be creating all my characters. I don't have an exact list of all the characters, but I have quite a few in mind that I know I have to create. Curious to know how you create your characters. Next week will be all about plotting, so I will see you in the next video. I'm very excited to be getting into the tough stuff, which is the mystery and trying to organize all the clues and things like that, which will be a nightmare, but very exciting. It's an exciting challenge. All right, I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.